In this lecture we are going to cover how to create a list view and retrieve data using a loop. To accomplish this, we will need to create a separate row component for this list. By the end of this class, we will have a well-designed second screen with the necessary content inside it. Alright, without further ado, open Xcode and let's create a new file for this list row component. First, select the SwiftUI view template, then give it the name Fruit Row View. Make sure that the destination of this file is the view folder and click on the Create button. Just a quick housekeeping. Before we start coding, I have already entered some comments for the properties, body, and the preview. If you wish, you can follow me with this practice as well. Now, navigate to the Preview section and add these modifiers to it. Preview layout, size that fits, padding. Awesome. Now I will make the editor bigger by hiding the Project Navigator pane and zoom the preview window up to 150%. So much better now. Row component. Now it's time to create the actual row component. This time we won't use any hand-coded data developing the layout since we have already learned how to fetch data using the previously created data model and local data file. Okay, we start by adding the necessary property at the top of the file. Enter the following code. Var fruit. Type of fruit. Right after this, as you may know already, the preview stopped working immediately. Now we need to fix the broken preview by adding the missing parameter to it. Enter. Fruit row view. Fruits data 0. With this code, the preview will know what we want to display on the canvas. It is the first fruit from the data file. Super, the error message is already gone and we can start creating the layout for this component. First, let's replace the placeholder text view with a new horizontal stack container. Enter. hStack. New comment, end of hStack. So far, so good. Now let's continue with the individual image view of the fruit, shall we? Enter the following code. Image, fruit, image. Rendering mode, original, resizable, scaled to fit, frame, width 80, height 80. Alignment, center. Shadow, color. Red 0, green 0, blue 0. Opacity 0.3. Radius 3. X 2. Y 2. Background. Linear gradient. Colors. Fruit. Gradient colors. Start point, top. End point, bottom. Corner radius 8. Nice job! Please pay attention to the rendering mode view modifier at the top. This will prevent the image to be colorized by the system link color when we add this row to the list and embed it later on inside a new navigation link. Our goal is to avoid the default system behavior. As you get more experienced by developing many applications with SwiftUI, you will be thinking and planning your code a way ahead. Just saying. The rest of the code is self-explanatory, I think. We can always check how these modifiers work by watching the layout changes on the preview window on the right side. It's so easy to prototype and build layouts with SwiftUI. Alright, the thumbnail image is already done. Now it's time to continue the development with the title and the headline. To do that, first we need to create a new vertical stack that will contain the text views. Let's do that as I show you. VStack, alignment, leading, spacing, 5, text, fruit, title, font, title 2, font weight, bold, text, fruit, headline, font, caption, foreground color, color secondary. If you have some previous experience with SwiftUI, then you will find this title 2 modifier to a new one. And you are right. SwiftUI 2.0 got some additional font styles such as Title 2, Title 3, and so on. Feel free to explore them using Xcode's code suggestion feature. Besides that, with the use of the secondary color and choosing a smaller font size, we added a clear priority between the title and the headline. And here it goes. As you can see, we have just developed the entire row component with a few lines of code. Our next task now is to implement this component into the content view. Open quickly. Since our project navigator is hidden, therefore I will give you a very useful tip on how we can quickly open a file in Xcode. Are you ready? Then follow me. Press the Command plus Shift plus O keys at the same time and Xcode will show up a new search bar similar to the Spotlight search on macOS computers. Now we need to just enter the first letters of Content View file and choose the right one from the available options as I show you. With this shortcut you can jump from one file to another quickly with ease. List. Alright, enough with that all, and let's create a list full of the fruits, shall we? To do that, first we need to create a new variable that will store all of the fruits data. Enter the following code snippet. Var fruits, type of fruit, equals fruits data. Nice job! This code should be familiar to you since we used a similar one for displaying cards on the onboarding screen. Now it's time to tell the preview what we want to be fetched. Add the following parameters to it. Content view, fruits, fruits data. Great! All the prep work is done. Now we can develop the layout for this content view. First, we need to create the main navigation view for this scene. Enter the following code. Navigation view. New comment, end of navigation. Super! Inside this new navigation, replace the placeholder welcome message with a new list view as I show you. List. Then add a new ForEach loop to this list view. ForEach, fruits, item, in. As you may notice, this loop fetches all the local data using the previously added fruits property. The only thing that we need to do now is to display the custom row component inside here and call the individual fruit one by one. Enter. Fruit row view, fruit, item. And here it goes. The preview window is already updated and we can see a list of fruits on the canvas. It needs yet one small refinement in my opinion. Enter. Padding, vertical 4. By the way, this vertical padding will give more space between each row and make it more appealing for the eye. Isn't that cool, is it? Shuffled method. What about having more fun with this list? Since the loop fetching the fruits from the data file in order, therefore the list remains always the same. But hey, we can add to it some love by shuffling them. And you will be surprised by knowing that there is a special method for that and we don't have to write any fancy custom function to achieve this functionality. Navigate to the fruits property inside the loop and add this short method for it. Fruits shuffled. Then wait for a sec until the preview updates the list. And ta-da! As you noticed, the rows are already shuffled in the list. It's quite amazing how easy to build something cool with SwiftUI. But before we call the day, there is one more thing that is still missing at the top of this scene. Can you figure out why there is a noticeable white space at the top of the list view? And yes, you are right. This place is preserved for the navigation title that we need to add as a modifier inside it to work properly. Let's do it right now, shall we? Jump to the end of the list view and add this missing modifier to it. Navigation title. Fruits. It gets the large title appearance by default, but when we scroll down, it will be inserted as an inline title to the sticky navigation bar in iOS 14. Live preview. Having said that, let's start the live preview and watch how it works. Navigate to the preview window and start the live preview by clicking the play button on the toolbar as I show you. As you can see, the preview starts the built-in simulator and re-renders the content view. Most noticeable that the rows are shuffled each time when we start the live preview as I show you when I stop and restart it. Testing. By the way, if you are on iOS 13 on your test device, then you can test the Fructus application on it as well. Having said that, let's build and run the application in the simulator. Now, when we tap on the Start button, then the onboarding scene is replaced with the new scene and we can see the list of the fruits. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? I hope that you enjoyed this lecture so far. Our Fructus app gets better and better after finishing each lesson. In the next class, we are going to create a new so-called detail view for the individual fruit and displaying all information about it in detail. Until then, happy coding and see you at the class.